Buy land for $5,000. Flip it for $50,000 and never work again. That's what you see everywhere on social media, right? The promise of easy passive income through land investing. Well, after 25 years and over 6,500 land deals, we need to have an honest conversation about what passive income really means in this business. In this episode, we're pulling back the curtain on land investing, the actual work required, where the money really comes from, and why the passive income promise might be hurting new investors. Welcome to Nite Cap. Joining me tonight on Nite Cap and the Art of Passive Income podcast, I've got breathe in the mailing, breathe out the marketing, the Zen Master, Mike Zato. Mike, how are you?
I'm great. Great introduction. Thank you.
It's good to see you, brother.
You too.
We've got handsome Rob, John Burnett. John, any new children this week?
Just two. So
Just two.
It's a slow week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Slow week. So you and Val have 5 kids. Six kids.
Yeah.
6 kids. Yeah. I love that Jim Gaffigan joke. What's it like having 5 kids? Like, imagine you're drowning, someone hands you a baby. So what's it feel like to have 6 kids?
It's you're drowning and somebody hands you 2 babies. That's what it feels like.
You're drowning, someone hands you 2 babies. And last but not least, the Nite Cap OG, dude, buddy, Scott Bossman. Scott, how are you?
I'm great, Mark. It's warming up here in Wisconsin. It was a whole 40 degrees today. I was outside with short sleeves. Beautiful day. Wonderful day.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, let's get into the meat of this. The myths about passive income. So, dude, buddy, what are some of the myths out there?
All right.
Let's talk about the reality. We'll kind of go around. We'll do like roundtable style for all those ankle biter land investors. They're just little babies. They're just little babies wanting to learn.
Yeah. So Mark, this is the best passive income model, right? We've talked about it for years and years. That's what hooked me. Back in 2015, I'm listening to podcasts. I'm learning about passive income. Like, how do I get me some of that, right? And I believe it is still probably the best passive income model. I believe you can cash flow from this business faster than a lot of other real estate investing businesses out there. However, I think we just need to frame some expectations for everybody out there. This is not get rich quick. It's get rich slow, right?
Yeah. If you're looking for get rich quick, go on a crypto YouTube channel. Good luck with that.
And then watch it crash today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
But your point though, I don't think there is no such thing as get rich quick. There just isn't. If you get rich quick, you lose it quick because you won't appreciate it. For all those crypto people, they're like, oh, I made $1 million in crypto, but then they lost it in the next cycle. So this is get wealthy slow. So this is the difference between rich and wealthy, right? So Mike Zato's buddies in the fire department might be rich, right? They might be making a lot of money. But if they have to keep going into work, they've only solved their money problems. They haven't solved their time problems. Wealthy is when the money works for you and you don't have to do anything. And your streams of income, in our case, all of our borrowers are paying our bills and we can go out and live our best lives. So passive income is giving us the trifecta of money, time, and energy and health at the peak of our life so we can live our best lives. Handsome Rob, John Burnett, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, ultimately, I think it's all about time, right? Like, there's kind of the Scrooge McDuck philosophy of wealth of like, I'm going to create this giant pile of money for myself, right? And that ultimately is wealth. And then there's another way to look at it, which is the stream of income, right? And that's where you just need to meet your expenses, right? And so for me, like, I mean, I kind of semi-retired a number of years ago. I was working 5 to 10 hours a week, right? And I wasn't making a crazy amount of money, right? But I didn't have high expenses, right? So it paid the bills. And in my mind, that was wealth, right? Like it covered everything I needed. It gave me the time I wanted with my family, right? So
No, absolutely. I mean, it takes a lot of time to have 6 kids.
it does.
For sure. Zen Master.
Hey,
What's like some of the biggest myths you see out there?
well, all this fits. Let me start with this. I talk to a lot of people that are getting into the business, and the biggest, one like, I want to do. You guys don't do bigger deals. I want to do cash deals and things of that nature. And what I tell them is, yeah, I do cash deals, but I also have a stream of income at the base that supports everything. So if you get $10,000 a month, Mark, $15,000, $20,000 a month of recurring income, and you do some cash deals, why not? The same systems that we build can handle large deals, small deals. The difference is we're not holding our breath, turning blue in the face, waiting for that cash sale to come to fruition. I had a beautiful 40-acre property in Pueblo County, Colorado. It took a year to sell, Mark. I made good money, but it took a year to sell. If I was waiting on that to support my family and whatnot, it'd be a long wait. So I think one of the myths that I typically hear is like, oh, you guys only do these small deals. Well, number one, the small deals, as I like to say, the penny stocks of real estate, but they cash flow so well, right? That's the base of what we do. But when you have that, you can still do cash large deals and flip them and make a lot of money and then reinvest them into smaller deals. So I think we should clear that up from the beginning. We're not against the big deals. We just don't rely on big deals.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and Scott, let me know if you disagree, but I don't want cash. I don't. It's not going to solve any of my problems. It's nice, but I've got to pay taxes and then go do another deal. It's a hustle.
Yeah.
But if I've got cash flow, it's the antidote for me to financial insecurity. I can get sick. I can go on vacation. I can lose a key team member. Doesn't matter, because the money keeps rolling in month after month, and I can just keep growing that slowly and consistently. And each year, it's like fine wine strategy. It just gets better every single year you do it. I think the myth is that you're going to come out in the first 6 months, you're going to do so many deals, you're going to replace your income. I don't think that's necessarily true. Dude, buddy, what do you think?
No, I totally agree. So I think another reality you all need to face here is that for most of us, Mark, you and I talk about this all the time. For most of us, this is a 3 to 5 year journey, right? Now, I think everybody out there watching, if they have the time and a little bit of money to start, and they have the ability to follow a recipe and do this, would you be satisfied if you could quit your job in 3 to 5 years? Because that's where most of us are, right? I think overwhelming majority of people would be very satisfied with that possibility, which is very, very possible in this business. So I think if you go into this and you have the notion that, okay, I'm going to quit my job in 6 to 12 months, that's a really aggressive goal. Could it be done? I think so. Are there some rock stars that would occasionally be able to do that? I think so. But for most of us who get into this, we're in the rat race. We're in a little bit of pain. We have some debt. We're working full time. We're supporting large families. Like, we all have large families on here. John has the largest, right?
Yeah.
But
By far.
I mean,
no one's competing with John. You
No.
win.
Yeah, exactly.
You win.
Yeah.
Win.
I mean, yeah. I just want to have the largest family in the room. That's my goal.
You got it, man.
So,
You
Yeah.
I
got it.
did it.
Yeah.
So,
But you know what's so funny though? I remember John came on the podcast, and him and Val had a mentor and said something really important that I don't want to gloss over, because John was semi-retired. He didn't have to work hard. And John, what did your mentor say to you?
He said, a few things. But one of the things he said is, your kids need to see you work, right? And that's important. And it was help, because I hit that point where I was semi-retired, and I was like, I mean, on the one hand, it was such a blessing. I'm so grateful. I have meals with my family every day, right? Like breakfast and dinner every single day. We're together as a family. We've got really good time. But at the same time, I was like, I'm going to do more things, right? And I think that that's actually a myth. Like you realize that when you hit time freedom, you need to do things, right? Like, and that was an interesting crisis for me, like, because you reach, ultimately the goal is I want more time with my family, right? Like that's the goal and that's the priority. And you get this time freedom, you're working 5 to 10 hours, you're providing for your family. You find I actually need to do more things. So now we fill our time. It's great.
Amazing.
But we just want to do it on our own terms, right? And never at the expense of the family. So
No, 100%. Zen Master, what are your thoughts?
I think you brought up a wonderful point, Mark. That's often advice I give to new people coming into, our flagship training program, Flight School, is 4 months long. And I tell people, even if they have a lot of capital, I say, you know what? In the beginning, start off small. We're going to have you mailing just enough to get a few deals in the pipeline, but those deals are so important. I look at them in a transactional assets in the sense that you're going to use those assets to build your business, build your workflows, build everything out. And then when you get that all built out and you get your VA in place, because we're going to have you hire one by week 8 when we do this, you'll have some multiple VAs, you have your systems in place, you're using the software, you make the sale on those first few properties. Now it's time to put some gasoline, right? Bring the gasoline, more mailings, more acquisitions, more sales, more monthly recurring revenue. But if out of the gate you try to go to, like you said earlier, I want to make $5,000 a month the next 3 months, you're going to throw so many mailers out there. You're going to be in chaos. You're not going to be able to build this correctly. So I think you hit upon a really valid point, Mark. No matter how much capital somebody has in the beginning, the structure and the format that we walk people through keeps them just in full control, right? They're not overwhelmed. There's no analysis paralysis. Everything is dialed in. So they get a few properties, they build their systems, they get the return on those properties, and now you see the spike in their growth, right? Because now they put the gasoline on, which is more mailers, more acquisitions, more sales, and more monthly recurring revenue.
I love it. And just for those of you that don't know what a VA, it's virtual assistant.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
The lingo.
The lingo, inside baseball. Absolutely. And I think that's another myth is that you have to have a real estate background because you're right. Like
people
you
ask
can
it
make
all the
passive
time.
income without any real estate background. I had no background. I had investment banking background. Only real estate I had done was buy a house. John, what was your background?
yeah, I mean, I had a little bit of real estate background, but I'd never purchased real estate, and I was just pretty much new as a realtor when I jumped in. But yeah, my first piece of property that I ever bought was 5 acres for $600. So
Yeah, dude, buddy, what about you?
Sounds like a deal.
Question is, did I have any background? I had no background.
You're a physical therapist.
I'm a healthcare guy. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the guy in college that was, I had 17 credits plus I was going to 6 to 8 hours of lab a week. All my friends were business majors, right? They're like, they go to like one class a day and they don't have class on Wednesdays. And, they're just hanging out, going out, having fun the whole time. I'm just living the healthcare life. And I did that forever and ever and ever. And then I'm like, wow, I'm working really hard. Let me learn something new where I can scale my time. So I love this business because I believe anybody can do it. You just need a little bit of time and you need the drive. And I mean, Mark, we have a 15-year-old in our community learning how to do this right now. We have 65 to 70-year-old people learning how to do this right now. Anybody can do this. You just need to have the drive.
I love it. Zen Master, what was your background?
My background was that my only experience with financing was owing credit cards a ton of money. So it was kind of fun to go from being the one that was trying to build a good credit score to being the one that's actually giving credit to other people. That was pretty cool because so I had zero experience, Mark. The only thing I knew about credit financing was that I had to pay all these god awful monthly bills to my credit card company. So I mean, I'm a firefighter. I went to school for business 30 plus years ago. But you know what? It always ate at me, Mark. I felt like I could have done well in the business world, but no, that's my lot in life. I'm a firefighter. I'm just gonna, stick with that. But then get into the land business and start being successful. What a refreshing moment it was when I realized that now I'm going to bring all that business experience in and be able to actually apply it in the real world. So it's pretty cool. So I had no experience other than owning a bunch of credit card companies, a bunch of money.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a myth. You don't have to go into a lot of debt either to start this.
No.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big myth, is like, oh, I need a lot of capital to start. I start with $3,000. Mike, you were 40 grand in the hole. John, what were you?
I think going into flight school, we were at like 20 grand or something like that.
Okay,
So
20.
not a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, buddy.
I mean, I think before I tapped into other resources, I had a couple $1,000. I honestly didn't have much, right? And I was able to make it work with the Land Geek with the investor toolkit back in the day. It's hard. It's hard to do it on your own. I spent, I don't know, probably 3-4 months trying to figure this whole thing out, and I was biting my nails the whole time, wondering if I was doing the right thing. But I was able to do a deal, and then I saw it work, and I'm like, you know what, let's figure out a way to invest a little bit more heavily in this. So I had the ability to draw from some other funds to do it. But before I allowed myself to do that, I think I just wanted to see it work. So
Yeah. How about the myth of competition? What do you guys think of that? Handsome Rob?
Yeah. I think that part of it is that we are like, the way that the model operates, like, I don't know, I think about it with the abundance mindset. There are certain areas where it doesn't necessarily work, right? So like, let's say, I just think of the example, like in my hometown, if my investment play was, I find an infill lot, I petition the city council to upzone it, increase the density, and I flip it to a developer, right? And let's say that that's my play and that's what I do. Like if I get all my buddies in a room and I tell them like, this is the thing, I've discovered it. And like, if any of them get in on that, there's really a limited supply, right, of that in my specific market. But what I'm dealing with is thousands and thousands and thousands of opportunities, right? It's a very large market. And so there's a lot more room for competition. And I also think the nature of our industry, there's just a steady churn rate, right? Like the example I gave with the infill lot thing, you take advantage of the opportunity, it's off the board, right? There's a limited amount and then they go away as you take advantage of them. With this, like I'm buying property from people who bought from other land investors, right? And I bought property from people who bought from me, right? Like there's a steady churn that happens of people that are interested in selling. And so the supply doesn't really go away either. So, I mean, I still I do mastermind like calls with people that are working in my same markets, and we talk about strategies and how we can get better in our businesses, and we all grow, right? Like it's a big enough market where there's room for that to actually happen.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because there's not millions of acres available for us to buy. There's
billions.
Oh, I know you're going to do that. I love it.
Billions. And even, like, and there's no private equity use, there's no hedge funds, there's no big money doing it. It's like this little Goldilocks niche. It's massive because too little money is a problem, but too much money is a problem.
Yeah.
And so I don't think there's any real competition. I think what it is that if I have a piece of land to sell and the Zen Master sends me an offer, and Dude Buddy sends me an offer, and Handsome Rob sends me an offer, I'm like, oh, this must be what my land is worth. But the reality is, in the 25 years I've been doing this, very often people will say to me, you're the first person to offer this to me. And it always shocks me, considering that when I first started, like there was like no one had ever heard of land investing. Then I started teaching people how to do it. And I go on these podcasts and people are like, what question should I have asked you? I didn't ask you. Like, well, Mark, it's so great. Why are you teaching anyone how to do this? Like, you're creating your own competition. And I always say the same thing. I'm like, No, I'm not. There's just too big a market out there, and it feels great to be able to say, like, I changed somebody's life. It's a rare privilege, and we're able to do that. And we can help people solve their time and money problems without hurting our own business. It's really incredible. It's a really incredible opportunity. Zen Master, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's funny you brought up crypto earlier, because I think what we're building actually is a land mining machine. And the interesting thing is that we mine land out of the same areas over and over again. So how's that for an argument against saturation? We will mail an area and we will buy land, and then 4 months later we'll mail it again, we'll buy more land. How is that? And then 4 months later, and then 4 months. How do we keep doing that? How do we keep mining land out of the same? Because it's an opportunity, right? It's timing. People, they may receive our letter and not be interested, or they may be too busy to look at it. But the day that they get a bill in the mail, or the day that they get the tax bill in the mail, or they have to pay the college bill for their kid, and all of a sudden our letter lands, the timing is there. So, yeah, I think that if there's saturation on how we continuously mining out of the same areas, more and more land, there's just too much. We can't do it. And I think you kind of stole my thunder, but you're the other one that actually told me, so it's okay. You know, so the biggest reason is there's no big money. I've had people getting calls, Mark. They're like, "Yeah, I got $1 million." I'm like, "Oh, breaks." How quickly are you looking to deploy that? Like, how quickly do you want to deploy that money? Right? Because it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. You can deploy $1 million, right? But it's going to take time. It's not going to be overnight.
No, 100%. And dude, buddy, what are your thoughts?
So this is what I tell people all the time. There are millions of realtors and real estate investors and house flippers literally fighting for thousands of homes, hundreds of thousands of homes, millions of them fighting for hundreds of thousands. There are thousands of us fighting for millions of vacant land parcels. It's completely the opposite. And I think all four of us on this call, Mark, you've been doing it 25 years, a quarter century. Your business has never slowed down in 25 years. Mine and Mike's has never slowed down in 10. John's has never slowed down in 8 or 9 or however long he's been doing it now.
I think people are wondering, Mark, did you start at 10 years old? Like, how did you do it?
Yeah. I mean, he's so.
Yeah, I mean, look, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. 10. I started at 1. This Nite Cap is about to devolve very quickly here.
No,
It's going to go.
Never happens.
The myth of aging. Yeah. So okay, let's talk about another myth, which is, you can't make big returns without risk, right? We always talk about the risk reward ratio. You want to make big returns in the stock market, you're going to take big risk, right? You want to buy Google, yeah, you'll make 12%. You want to buy, I don't know, what's the name of your stock? That's not risky, right? I don't know. I think it's funny. Like none of us even buy stocks. None of us even made like a name. It was like, wait, what's stock market? Okay, so there's this way to like invest in companies and you get a return. Anyways, right. So the bigger the company, the more successful, the less risk, right? Is typically what you do. But if you're going to buy a startup, right? Odds are it's going to go under. But if it hits, you can make 50x, 100x, 1000x returns, but you're taking a massive risk. So our returns are 300 to 1000%. What are the risks? Handsome Rob, how many times have you lost money on a land deal?
Once, I think. Oh no, twice. 2 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much did you lose?
Once was $1,250. The other was $1,450.
$1,250 and $1,450.
Yeah.
And how many deals have you done?
Hundreds and hundreds.
So
and they're deals I honestly like. I could have resolved them, and I just didn't want to put the time and effort into it. So it was resolvable. There were just other things that were more pertinent for my time and my energy, and so yeah.
Okay. How about you, Zen Master?
I maybe broke even on a deal, but never lost money. And I think that, along the lines of what you're bringing up, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It's like defaults. What about defaults? What happens when people don't pay us? It's like, I always tell people, listen, I fulfill my promises and I want people to fulfill theirs. But if they don't, in this instance, I'm okay. Right? Like, I think we talked about this last week, right? If you bought a property for $3,000, you sell for $300 a month and someone pays you for 4 months, right? Well, now that's $1,200 less I have invested in that property, and I will resell it. Do I have to evict them? No, they're not allowed to build on the property. Plus, a bank's not going to give them a loan to build on a property they don't own anyways. The risk isn't there. So it's easy to remove them from that property because they're not living on it, right? They get a notice of default, notice of termination if they miss another payment, and away they go. And what do? We resell it. We make more money. So defaults are not a problem. Defaults happen.
Yeah, but what's terrible though is like how you have to literally like chase the people for the money. Like you have to get a paper check every single month. You have to go to the bank. You have to deposit it. Oh wait, no, you don't.
Maybe
it's all automated.
Yes,
it's all automated with a shameless plug for GeekPay.io, a set and forget it payment system.
Yeah.
So even then, you don't even have to notify your borrower. It automatically notifies them as well. So with software now, collecting those monthly recurring payments, your mailbox money, so to speak, you don't even have to go to the mailbox. It just automatically comes into your bank account. And if it doesn't, there's nothing to do. It's all automated.
Yeah.
So sorry to cut in there with my.
No, it's a good point. People, they ask about managing the notes, and I say, it's great. If you're buying from me, Mark, guess what? You're going to get a login credentials to a portal. You're going to be able to see your balance, see your agreement, make early payments, pay off the property. It's fantastic for you. But what's better is that I, as the person who owns the property, I'm going to get automatic payments each month. So it's a win-win on both sides.
Yeah.
I don't know who created that, but it was genius.
I don't know. Dude, buddy. What are your thoughts?
Have I ever lost money on a deal? I don't think I've ever lost money on a deal. I've probably broken even on one or two.
Out of thousands of deals? Hundreds of
probably
thousands?
over thousands now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that's pretty amazing when you look at that, right? And again, I think when we're buying mostly lower value properties, right? We're buying properties for $5,000 and less. Those deals are just inherently less risky, right? So, if I were to buy a $50,000 property, that's a lot more risky in my opinion. We're kind of mitigating our risk by buying all of these smaller properties that we turn into performing assets, and the returns on each of those small properties are really amazing. And the risk is just really low with these smaller properties, right? We buy them at a margin of safety. We make money on the buy.
We're making our money on the buy. 300% margin of safety. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we teach you how to find an area that's conducive to buying at a deep discount and selling, right? So the risk is very low on these deals. I know people, Mark, in the last year, who have done bigger deals, they're actually having a tough time right now because, buy for 50, sell for 100, or maybe get a property under contract for $1 million, try to find a buyer for $2 million. Like in the last year or so, people don't want to fork out the cash, but there's still a lot of people out there who can afford land for $100 to $200 a month.
Yeah, you got a job, you can afford our land. Absolutely. Yeah. So we have a massive buyer pool too.
Yeah.
I've never been stuck with a piece of raw land.
All you need is an allowance, Mark, and you can buy our land.
Yeah, exactly. But after 6,500 deals, I've never been stuck with a piece of raw land. I've broken even when I factored in my time, but I've never lost money on a deal, which is kind of nutty to say. So
it is nutty to say. That's pretty nutty.
It is nutty. It is
nutty.
It's just we're making our money on the buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that one deal. We screwed up the due diligence and had tons of back taxes. And I was like, if I pay the taxes, I'm going to lose money on this deal. I'm like, we don't lose money. So I'm like, let it go for the taxes. And then sure enough, it goes to auction, and in a competitive auction situation, people will start bidding it up. They start buying the property. I just requested the overage on the taxes. That's my money. And we ended up making 200% on those deals. I didn't even have to sell the property. The county sold it for me. I love this
that's
business.
awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
I love this. Yeah. So crazy.
Uh,
Well, anyways, I know this is the part at Nite Cap where things get a little rowdy. You guys start
No.
drinking. I've got my 40 of water.
nice 40.
It is Mountain Spring Valley water.
Oh.
Oh, last time I had a 40, it was an Old English 800. Yeah, wasn't good. My dad too, and that wasn't good. Wasn't good. But anyway, Mark, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me.
Sad part, Mark. This is where Mark's gonna go.
This is where I drop off. You guys can talk about what I'm going to talk about.
It's really more about the pretentious hard stop. Mark's like, he's got kind of this air about him where he doesn't want to hang out with us. So
No,
bye, Mark.
I'll hang out. I just think it's more fun without me. You guys
Okay, we'll talk to you later. Bye. See ya. That was a good one, right? Yes.
All right.
Let freedom ring, Mark. Let
Oh yeah,
freedom
let's
ring.
do the ring. I'll just put a little dab of water in my whiskey.
So this is where Mark's gone. The drinks are out. Now it's time to kick back and talk land investing without a filter. No filter.
Mark's new nickname is the Filter.
Yeah, I think he's the filter. The filter. Actually, is what it's called. So,
Drinking tonight, guys. What do you got?
so cheers. So Mike Zano, I have 18-year Knob Creek.
Oh man, you're got a good drink there.
I'm telling you what, this is older than my youngest boy, and it's very much worth all I paid for it.
It's older than all of my kids, I think, added together.
Oh, ouch, Burnett. Ouch.
Are you having a drink tonight, John? Are you drinking tea? What are you drinking tonight?
I got look at this. It's French press.
Ooh.
Decaf. I know. Just pulling out all the stops tonight. It's great.
How much coffee do you drink a day, though? That can't be good for you.
I know. It is a lot. I drink an obscene amount of decaf. It's like an embarrassing amount of decaf.
All right. That's better for you. That's better for you. What do you got, Zano?
Yeah.
Ooh, this is actually really good. I got I don't know how you pronounce it. The Nikka. Is it Nikka whiskey from the barrel, the Japanese whiskey.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, it's all faded out. I know. The
Yeah,
blood,
it's not bourbon.
the
It's
blood.
whiskey.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Ooh, I got that nice Tennessee hug first sip.
Oh yeah, the Japanese hug. That's awesome. So viewers, we're here for you now. We're here to answer questions for all of you folks. So those of you tuning in, maybe you just found the Land Geek. Maybe you're like, what the heck is land investing? That's why we're here. Ask us questions. We'll answer. No question is a dumb question. We'd love to help anybody, no matter where you are in the business. If you just found this, maybe you're in flight school, maybe you're in coaching, maybe you're a veteran. See if we can help. So, who's here tonight? Say hello. Where are you from? Mike, you got a shout out earlier. Where'd it go? Ryan Griff.
Yes,
from
Brian. How you
Connecticut.
doing?
He's been talking to you.
Oh yeah.
He's a lucky man. He's a
Ryan's a
lucky
great
man.
guy. Cheers, Ryan.
Cheers, Ryan. Congrats,
Cheers.
Ryan. Ryan, tell us what you do and maybe why you're looking at land investing. We'd love to hear that.
Absolutely.
And I don't know. I thought that was a good podcast with Mark, right? Myths versus realities.
I thought that went well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think any other myths about this whole thing. I know a myth that we could talk about. Have you guys ever heard the myth that, or have you ever heard this statement that owner financing land is hard? And that is too. It's too
Complicated.
too many moving parts. Too difficult.
Mhm.
Right.
What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that, John Burnett?
I mean, I disagree.
Tell us why, John Burnett.
I mean, for me, like I've got, well over 100 notes, right, at this point in my business. And I don't talk to people, right? Like, I mean, I talk to some people that work for me, but I'm like, it's very rare that anything gets escalated to me where I'm actually talking to a person. And then nobody's like, I don't want anybody mailing me checks, right? Like, it's not in my interest. It's not in theirs. It's all in Geek Pay. It's all automated. And then I've got somebody like a virtual assistant that works for me. And this is a part-time job for her, but she sends out the notices. She handles the default process. She handles all of that. And so I just get the notifications, right? Like, hey, this property came back. We finalized the default process. Or, you know, and then she's even got her own processes. If people are having trouble making payments and asking for some grace or something like that, we've got a basic policy. Like, here's what we do in that scenario. If you want to do this, you can do that without my approval, right? And so it's really pretty. It doesn't take a lot of my time, really. So.
I love it. Zeno, what are your thoughts? And I have some thoughts.
I don't know. I'm going to go with the what was that movie back in the day with he was in Leonardo DiCaprio, and he was impersonating, and he was a doctor, and the guy's like, I should have concurred. Well, I'm going to concur. I concur with John. I concur.
I don't know what movie that is, dude.
Yeah, Catch Me If You Can.
Is it Catch Me? Yeah.
Oh, Catch Me If You Can.
Remember he was acting like a doctor, and he's asking the guy, and the kid goes, I should have concurred. I'm learning from that guy. John, I concur.
Why do you concur? Tell us more.
Because I agree with everything he said. It's only difficult if you're doing it all yourself.
Right.
You do it all yourself, it's a pain in the butt. I mean, but the nice thing about this business is it's repeatable, it's redundant. Ready? It's boring. But money, the returns are nice, but the processes just repeat themselves over and over and over and over. But since they repeat themselves, you can outsource them, you can delegate them, you can systematize. Finally got that word down after hearing Scott Fossman say it for about a decade. Systematize.
Mike's been saying into a mirror for hours.
Oh my God.
I say it all the time, just for no reason. I walk around. Hey, how you doing? I'm like this. Systematize.
Oh, Mike Zeno.
Perseverate. Yeah. How do you say the other one, Scott? You love perseverate. I'm working on that one.
Perseverate, perseverate. That's a clinical
Sounds
term.
like a PT.
We'll get. Yeah, it's a clinical term. We'll get to it for sure. But here's the thing with owner financing being so difficult, right? Who would be so lucky to get to a point where they're at $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000 to $30,000 a month passive income on our owner financing notes, and we have people. We used to talk. $10,000 a month passive income was the pie in the sky number back in 2015.
Yeah.
It's 2025 now, folks.
It's a whole new world.
People are getting to 30,000 plus in 5 years. John Burnett, how amazing would it be to wake up on the first of the month knowing that you had $30,000 coming in that month?
Yeah.
And you didn't have to do anything for.
Yeah.
It was all
great.
offered. Maybe there's a 10% default. Okay, you're going to take a $3,000 hit that month, right? So you only got $27,000 coming in this month.
Pretty is with numbers, just like that. You spit those. I mean, I use them numbers. I know, but you're good. You're good.
I'm on top of it tonight. For all of the 16 people watching, I'm on top of it. I don't know why our viewers are down tonight. We had so many last week, not this week.
We live in the rerun. We live in the rerun. We know that.
We live in the rerun. Yeah.
Anyway,
but like, how amazing is that feeling, right? To know that on the first of the month you have that money coming in. It makes your life, in my opinion, a little bit less transactional, right? Mm-hmm. There are less transactional deals to be done that month because you have that money earmarked. It's already coming in. Now, when you get a couple of nice cash deals on top of that, like John Burnett did last week, where he brought in like, I don't know how many thousands of dollars in one day.
I wish we could.
That makes a pretty sweet month.
We got to develop a
Those.
skill where when you say that, we cut away and we see John talking last. Like when you say that, like John did, and it pops in.
Yeah.
Like, how do we do that? Yeah.
Totally.
Last week on the Nite Cap.
Yeah. So right. So those are our thoughts, people, on owner financing is it's just too difficult to manage. It's a big not for me.
Big not. Yeah, it's a not.
We got some comments coming in. Some maybe a question. We'll see. Philip Sismowski, maybe. He's on week 2 of mailing, 100 letters per week. That's awesome.
Good job, Philip.
At what point should I expect feedback or response, assuming I'm offering a compelling price? I love that question. A couple things in there, Mike. So time frame, and then the compelling price, I think we should talk about as well.
Yeah, right. No, listen, usually it takes a few weeks, if not 3 or 4, to start getting some people to respond. Sometimes we've had mailers right out of the gate. Boom. Sometimes it takes, it goes back to what we said last week on the Nite Cap. You have to be consistent with the mailing and the marketing, right? So consistently mailing, and all of a sudden, after a certain point, you hit that breakthrough point, the deals are going to continually just bubbling up. They're going to keep popping up into your inbox, into your mailbox, into your text thread. They're going to start coming, but it's a few weeks for sure before you start getting that. Would you agree, John?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and I think you're right. Like persistence is key, right? And getting your offers right. I remember, there's this one county in Oregon, and I was mailing there, and I saw somebody I knew, they'd bought this property there for $2,000, and I was like, if they can do it, I can do it. I couldn't do it, right? And so I sent so much mail, and then got it finally to the point where I just did consistent deal flow there, right? But it just took a little while for that to hit, and that was because I went way under on the price point, right? I was going way under the standard, percentage. So
good point.
And we don't all hit the nail on the head with our first batch of mailers, right? That's just how it is. But did you quit, John Burnett? Did you quit that county?
I didn't do it.
I didn't quit. He didn't.
I made so much money.
There you go. You just can't quit, right? You gotta dial in sometimes to the pricing.
Yeah.
Right?
I was talking to someone today, Scott, that he's got the intake down. He's buying a lot of properties, but he's having a difficult time selling, so he's getting a little anxious. But the reality is that they're all going to sell. It just takes the right amount of marketing, and I can't tell you how many times I've talked to someone like, "Oh, these properties aren't selling," and all of a sudden, 1 week they sell 3 or 4. But it wasn't like they sold it in that 1 week. They sold it as a result of all their previous efforts and the consistency.
Consistency is.
By the
key.
way, is it true that it says "I love"? Nobody can see it. Does it say Mike underneath that? I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
it says Mike. Uh-huh.
We're all just assuming here. We're all just assuming.
Okay. I
Oh,
love
dirt!
man.
How do you always have the coolest shirts?
I don't know. I'm just a shirt guy. I like shirts. You have the shirt too, Mike. I don't know.
I
forgot about it. You have so many shirts, you forgot about it. Laura didn't lay it out for you. It's fine.
It's
Whatever.
kind of the truth.
Anyway, let's see who else we got here. So Philip, if you don't hit the head on the nail with your first batch of mailings, don't give up. It's data. It's data for you, and you're learning the counting, right? So hang in there. Here's a great comment from George Stewart. So Mike, give this one to you. Hey guys, Indianapolis representing here.
All right.
He bought the Land Geek program at least a decade ago. So he was a toolkit guy, right? Yeah. And he sent out a bunch of offer letters to tax delinquent properties.
Yeah. And
he didn't have any success, and he got frustrated. What would you say to George today?
Well, I'd say, just like I said a few minutes ago, there are sometimes mailers where they completely fall flat on their face for whatever reason. John, you just mentioned how many mailers did you send out, John, before you figured out that the pricing was off? Was it a few hundred or more? I don't know.
Man, it's embarrassing. It was like probably 1,000 for this one before I actually mailed the appropriate amount.
And it can be tough, right? If you're in the beginning and you don't have the quote unquote proof of concept, you start doubting yourself. But if you're not careful, you can unwind yourself from a very big opportunity. Unfortunately, that sounds like what happened a decade ago, but that's okay. You're here today. and you can learn from that past action that you took. The fact that you already did that should give you confidence to get back up on that seat, start riding that bike again, and just start mailing and realize it's going to produce. It's just going to take consistency.
Yeah, and I think some other things are better than a decade ago, right? The way we do things is better. It's easier to get information. George, we're not having to necessarily purchase lists from the county anymore that are 30,000 line items long that you then have to scrub down to 100 line items to mail.
Remember that? Frankensteining the list?
Which takes you hours and hours and hours, and then you get a line off and you're screwed when you set out your first mailing. So data is easier to come by. The training is better. Tax delinquent people, we actually go after everybody now because
wider net.
Wide net, right?
You used to have to create a formula, right? Oh, I'm going to offer $1,500, but then I put on the next column how much is owed in back taxes. Then I have a little formula, and everybody gets a unique little offer. It was so nice. It was so beautiful. I felt so good with my little formula. Big Excel genius here, right? Everybody now gets an offer. Because all we want people to do is raise their hand and say, I'm interested. And if they are interested, then we have discussions. And then we find out, oh, there's back taxes. Don't worry, we'll take care of that. Instead of $1,500, you got $300 of back taxes. I'll give you $1,200 and I'll take care of that. It's just we just need someone to raise their hand. So, man, we have really simplified things. We've really taken a lot of the stress out of it. It's really simple. One price, they all get it. And then we deal with it when they go through intake.
Yeah, and I would say, George has another question. So how are things different now? So we kind of answered that, right? But I also have to say the training is better, right? So, we have a land investing college now that we didn't have 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. In 16 weeks, you go through this land investing college we call Land Geek Flight School, and you're done and you're doing deals, right? You guys do it. I talked to somebody the other day. He's in week 11 of flight school. He's already sold 8 properties.
Yeah.
Right. I talked to somebody who was in week 8 of flight school a few weeks ago. He's in week 8 of flight school. He'd already bought 10 properties.
Yeah.
Right. And in week 8, he bought 10 properties at 30 cents on the dollar. Right.
There's no way I did that 10 years ago in my first few months. No way.
Yeah. And look at the asset column he has acquired in just 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, George,
that's a great point, because even if you haven't sold these yet, to the point of the person that I was referring to earlier, that's a little anxious because they haven't sold them yet, bought these all 30 cents on the dollar. You have a great portfolio of land that you own at an incredible price. So that alone is an accomplishment. And now it's just a time to put in the effort and go through the marketing and understand that it sometimes takes longer than we would hope, but they all do sell.
Yeah, and we just need to make those assets performing assets, and it happens, right?
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't happen right away, you're not losing money on that asset. So it's good business. What do you got there, Michael? Laura just dropped something off. I can tell.
Oh, I was trying to think. I was gonna get a little dollar bill instead I got a dollar coin. It's a performing asset.
So I have to brag. I have to brag tonight because my wife pulled a Laura. And she brought me a tray.
Is that a karate board?
It's like a cheese and cracker tray.
I call them karate boards. That's a karate board. Karate, however you want to call it.
A karate board. Yeah, I like it. So shout out to my wife. Shout out to my wife here in Boston.
Laura, if you're watching this, I want a karate board.
Yeah.
I've just heard my kids banging on the door over there.
Oh my god!
Different stage of life, guys. Different stage of life.
Different stages, exactly. We have a question. Where are the tracksuits tonight? You know what? I think we just got ahead of ourselves.
No, they're coming. We have some in the works. Something.
We got a few things in the works. A few things in the works. Back to Ryan Griff. He's a mechanical engineer, and he's happy to be in contact with you, Mike. So, engineers, they do really good in this business because it's just we teach you a recipe, so just follow the recipe. Yeah, so there you go.
Brian's gonna crush it.
This is from Leo, checking in from Utah.
All right.
Just started week 3, getting ready to send out his first batch of mailers. What are your thoughts of sending mailers to corporations and LLCs when you're sending out your mailers? John, you do it?
No, I mean, like when I'm interacting, like generally, if I'm sending out mailers to other LLCs, I'm sending them out to other people like me, right? And yeah, you might get the odd deal in there, but it's gonna be a much smaller ratio, right? And so generally, I want to be interacting with individuals compared against LLCs.
Mike Zano?
I concur.
Come on,
Man,
man.
that's 2 concurs in one evening.
Oh,
Concur.
right. Listen,
That's great. I feel good.
it's generally a good idea to just steer clear of them.
I will also concur.
All right, look at that.
3 concurs. I love it.
I'm gonna call
Yeah.
that the reluctant concur. That's the new episode, and we have the reluctant concur. from Scott Buck.
I don't know if you guys knew, but we actually have a guy watching. His name is Kirk Yoder. Wasn't he an MTV DJ back in the day? Kirk Yoder?
No, Kurt. No, it was. Oh, I know you. I don't think it was. It's very similar.
Kirk, did you work for MTV? And if so, it's good to see you. But anyway, any
If
other
not,
questions?
it's not good to see you.
Any other questions tonight that we can answer for the land investing community? I think we're definitely living in the rerun this time. I don't know what happened. It's probably because I'm managing the streaming.
You're only looking at one platform though.
I'm looking at multiple platforms. I don't know what happened.
Live in the rerun. By tomorrow, 10 million people will watch this.
Oh, by the way, we do have an announcement to make though, because 2 announcements actually. Number one is if you go to the comments in the description of this live broadcast, there's a link to a Google form where you can enter to win a drawing of Dirt Rich 1 or 2. You remember well, you know, my name is Simon, and I like to do drawings of Mike Myers on Saturday Night Live. Anyway, you can enter to win a signed copy of Dirt Rich 1 and 2. So make sure for all of the many of you watching tonight that you go to the description and click on that Google form and fill out the form so that you can win that. And then we do have 3 winners from last week.
What are they winning?
They won. Do you listen to me when I talk? Signed copies.
Oh, you said that's what they're going to enter for now. I didn't know that's the people last week won.
Oh yeah. Last week, same
Jeez,
drawing.
that was pretty hot, John.
Same drawing. Sorry, I didn't mean to blow up.
My God.
So here are the winners. Here are the winners of last week's drawing. Your odds of winning are much bigger this week. Last week it was very competitive.
Well, do you have to be present to win?
What's that?
Do you have to be present to win, or someone?
No, we don't do that here. Okay. You don't have to be present to win. Yeah. We just honor it. So the 3 winners of the signed Dirt Rich compendium are
this guy's good at Scrabble.
Dan Neems, Ben Dininger, and Vin Shaduri.
Dininger.
I feel like he just mispronounced all of them.
Dininger.
I really think he did.
I mean,
sorry, guys.
I think it's Dininger.
It's Dininger. I know.
All right.
It's
you know Ben? All right.
Yeah. Well, I'll correct him for you, Ben.
I know Vin Shaduri, so Mike Zano.
There it is. David Letterman in the house.
Yeah. Oh, guys. Well, we're coming up on 5 minutes. Let me see if we got any other questions, comments. Jared Bell. Here we go. Jared Bell, I think I was made for Nite Cap. At this stage of your business, and Jared Bell, I got to give you a shout out. So you guys on Facebook and you see other land investors posting their land, right? So Jared Bell, and you guys will now see this because I bring it up and you'll notice. In almost all of his land ads on Facebook Marketplace, he's holding up a sign that says, like, for sale, but he's standing there with the for sale sign next to his land. And sometimes it's next to his land, sometimes it isn't, but it doesn't matter. It's very creative. And I think he gets a lot of hits that way. So anyway, Jared Bell, good for you. He's one of our coaching clients. At this stage of the business, What percentage of sales are coming from Facebook versus land sites? John Burnett?
I got tired of Facebook. So 0% Facebook.
Really? You're 0%?
I'm 0%. I should be on Facebook. I started hating Facebook in general and deleted my Facebook profile.
John, hey, you know
So,
what though? I got to say that's actually pretty impressive in this day and age because most people are selling most of their land on Facebook.
yeah.
So good for you, man.
Yeah. I'm selling 0%.
So you're doing the land sites in your buyers list.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. John, do you ever list with realtors?
Every so often, but only if I feel like the market's super duper hot in an area, and if I'm pretty confident about the realtor. You got to be careful with a realtor because you'll get locked in a 6-month contract, and they'll throw on a GIS picture, a couple sentences, and then we'll see what happens, and that's never fun. Yeah, so.
All right, I like it. Thanks for the advice there, Mike Zano. What about you? Facebook versus land sites?
I think it's a mix. I don't know the percentage, but it's a mix. Definitely a mix. I'm in awe that John's off of John.
Yeah, Craigslist, John.
Hats off to John.
No Craigslist.
No Craigslist. No Facebook. John Burnett, you are the
Well,
antithesis
he's got his
of most
buyers
of us.
list. Let's not forget. People might not realize he has a buyers list.
Yeah,
I do.
and that buyers list has got to be getting pretty big after what 8 years, John?
Pretty big.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Pretty big. Yeah.
It's large.
We do have a comment. What's that?
Oh, I just said it's large.
Yeah, it's large, right? Yeah, I would say that we're probably like half and half. Well, I would say actually probably like 40% Facebook, 40% land sites,
20% buyers list.
or and then 20% buyers list. That's probably what we are right now, which is pretty awesome. I mean, the buyers list, you get a lot of repeat buyers, right? And then the question, does the buyers list come from Facebook? Buyers list comes from Facebook or the land selling websites or
Anybody who's
Craigslist.
engaged with you at any point, you can get their email, and now they're on your buyers list.
Yep, for sure. Mark Podolsky commented. Mark, I dropped you through the floor there pretty quick. We didn't even get the Let Freedom ring in, but he says, this is the best show on the interwebs. No idea why the live viewers didn't show tonight. Next week will be millions. Millions. Yeah. I think we'll definitely get more viewers next week. I don't know.
Hey, you know what?
I think next week's at least 17. It's going to be great.
Remember, Scott, we started this years ago just because we could hang out and drink together and talk. So the three of us are hanging out here. It's a win.
I do have to say that was actually way back when, before streaming was even really a thing. Like Zano, we were streaming, man.
We had an intro song, and we got so big, YouTube shut us down.
We're gonna get another intro.
They blocked our intro. We're like, wow, we got noticed by the algorithm. Wow.
Yeah, I think we're still in trouble for that. But yeah, so. But we got another intro coming. It's actually not an intro because it's in the middle of the show. So we got it. What do we call it? A mid-tro?
A mid-tro.
Mid-tro. I like it.
I like a mid-tro.
Right. And I was going to throw in the. I don't know if you noticed, Mark, but I had my own little hook tonight halfway through, and I was going to throw in live from anywhere it's Tuesday night, and I didn't. So next week.
That is
next week.
Really good.
That's going in.
I love
next week. That's going in. All right, guys. Well, we've come up on an hour here, so hopefully this was helpful. I think that we did definitely cover. We definitely covered the myths about passive income and land investing, and how there are some myths that there are actually a lot of myths that are not true. Right, Mike?
Yeah. There are a lot of myths that aren't true. That's true.
I know
hey,
that.
I think I like to end with a little bit of a toast. Can I do that?
Please do.
Because it's something I was going to tell Mark. And if Mark, you're listening, when I first started, Mark would say, Mike, we're looking to create new problems, but good problems. What's a new problem? Send out lots of mailers, people start responding, and you got to actually engage them. You buy a bunch of property. Now you got to create ads to sell them. You're creating new problems and solving them, right? New problem, Mark would say to me, good problem. So here's to creating new problems.
Oh, I love it. That was a great one.
Truth.
Cheers to you, buddy. Cheers, Don. Cheers, Mike.
Cheers.
One last thing. If any of you watching for the first time, Eva, have a question about land investing, there's a little banner at the bottom of your screen. Email us, Scott at the Land Geek, Mike at the Land Geek, John at the landgeek.com. Whoever you like better.
Whoa,
just
my
email
email's
them.
blowing up right now. 5,
Yeah,
6,
I know, right?
7, 8, 9, 10. Keep it coming, guys.
Yeah.
Mike got all 16. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's the man. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great night. We'll see you next week. Now, next week we are featuring a client, or we'll just say a land geek. We're featuring a land geek who has done very well in the business. Who has the business has changed their life. Not only are they more wealthy money wise, but they're more wealthy with their freedom, right? Because that's what it's about. So next week, tune in. We got a student success story for you. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Signing off.
All right.
Cheers.
Yeah, like last time.
Cheers.